My coworker stole my medical leave excuse, so I exposed her in front of the entire office. I still remember the exact moment I realized what Melissa had done. We both needed time off during the company's busiest season, per me for chemotherapy treatments. I'd been quietly undergoing her for a last-minute cruise vacation she'd been bragging about in the break room. Just today, our manager called an emergency meeting to address dishonesty in the workplace after discovering Melissa had told him I was faking cancer to get special treatment, all while she was using my exact diagnosis to justify her own 2-week absence when I was diagnosed with a grade 2 lymphoma 3 months ago. I decided to keep it private at work. I didn't want pity or special treatment per just the medical leave I was legally entitled to for my weekly treatments. I only told my direct manager, James, providing the necessary documentation and working out a reduced schedule that wouldn't impact my projects. Melissa and I shared an office and had always been cordial if not close. She'd noticed my frequent doctor appointments and occasional sick days. Must be nice to have so much flexibility, she'd comment. I'd smile politely without explaining 2 weeks ago. Melissa started dropping hints about a Caribbean cruise she'd booked par in a last-minute deal she couldn't pass up. The problem? It fell during our department's critical end of quarter reporting period when time off was explicitly forbidden. James is such a hard-ass about vacation time, she complained to me. How did you get him to approve all your appointments? I changed the subject, uncomfortable with the direction of her questions. Last Friday, I overheard Melissa in James's office, her voice trembling with what sounded like emotion. I didn't want to tell anyone, but I've been diagnosed with lymphoma. The doctors say I need to start treatment immediately. My blood ran cold. She was using my exact diagnosis, parent, the one I'd been fighting privately for months. I waited until she left, then approached James. Did Melissa just tell you she has lymphoma? I asked. His face showed confusion. Yes, she showed me some medical documents, said she needed 2 weeks off starting Monday. Why? Because I am the one with lymphoma, I said quietly. Those are my treatments she's describing. James looked stunned. He asked to see my medical records again, comparing dates and details. His face darkened as he realized what Melissa had done. Her somehow accessed my confidential medical information and repurposed it for her vacation. I assumed he'd address the situation privately with Melissa, but instead he stood before the entire department. We need to discuss integrity in the workplace, he began. Niels, someone accessed another employee's confidential medical information and used it to request fraudulent leave. Melissa's face went white. She glanced at me with panic. James continued. This person claimed to have the exact same medical condition as their coworker, apparently unaware that their coworker had already disclosed this condition to management. The room fell silent. I mentioned knew who shared an office with me. What's worse, James added, this person suggested to me that their coworker was faking their illness for special treatment while simultaneously using that same illness as their own excuse. Melissa stood abruptly. This is a misunderstanding. I have documentation. Yes, James interrupted. Documentation that matches word for word with what's in your office-mate's medical file, paired which you shouldn't have had access to. She grabbed her things and stormed out. He escorted her from the building an hour later. I never wanted my health situation to become office gossip, but in a strange way, Melissa's actions forced me to be open about what I've been going through. Colleagues I barely knew offered support, meal trains, and rides to treatment. Some people will steal your struggles to avoid their own inconveniences. Others will stand by you when those struggles become real. I now know exactly which coworkers are which.